led by my good friend, the current majority leader of the chamber, on the introduction of a 17.5% special petroleum tax levy. Again, despite the walkout, proceedings continued. The votes and proceedings recorded the members that were present, and that was what was used to justify the decisions of the day. So it suffices to say that the failure to register an objection for a lack of quorum does not mean decision taken on that day are invalid, are wrong, or not legitimate. The actions of the House therefore stands to me on Tuesday, 30th November 2021, bring into sharp focus. I want to take this because we will need to put the views in the official report of Parliament. There will be people who will be doing research in the future. It's not just a matter of in-camera discussions. What happened earlier on has been captured, and this response must also be captured. The actions of the House on Tuesday, 30th November 2021, bring into sharp focus the powers of a Deputy Speaker vis-à-vis that of the Speaker. On that day, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament presiding found that the vote taken on the 26th of November rejecting the budget was null and void, and the requisite number was not present in accordance with Article 104 of the Constitution. The decision taken on the 30th of November 2021, which decision stated I acted ultra vires the Constitution. When I put the question on the 2022 budget statement economic policy of government, appears strange to me. The House was duly constituted for its work for the purposes of business, and voting in accordance with Articles 102 and 104 respectively, and the public record of the votes and proceedings of the House on the 26th of November lends credence to this position. It is persuasive to note what Eskime, an authority in parliamentary practice, says on this matter, and I quote, "The Speaker's rulings constitute precedents by which subsequent speakers, members, and officers are guided. Such precedents are noted and in the course of time may be formulated as principles or rules of practice. They are an important source of determining how the House conducts its business," unquote. Honorable members, as to whether a vice president can preside over a cabinet which had earlier on taken a decision on a subject matter presided over by the president, and without and without consulting the president, get the cabinet to rescind the decision earlier taken is for your kind debate as you started. But who am I to say my deputy, the first deputy speaker, the honorable member for Bekwai constituency, Honorable Joseph Osei-Usu, the wise, well, he didn't join our group, the three wise men, he didn't join us. So he's still Joe Wise, not wise man. Who am I to say that he might have indulged in an act of misconduct? Tantamount to insubordination. Honorable members, we are however faced with a serious challenge because of the attempt of the country to marry the two different systems, the Westminster model and the presidential system. We did not only do that, we also added our traditions, our cultures, our beliefs, our values, and the norms of the tribes in Ghana forming the nation Ghana. As a result of that, the clarity as to the rules dealing with quorums and decisions of the House are blurred. When you go through the presidential system, the laws clearly state the rules support one way or the other. If you go through the Westminster system, it's the other way around. And you know, mostly in the Westminster system, the Speaker is a member of Parliament. It's not the same in all other parliaments. So that is why I said the debate is left to you. I am not, by what I've said, blaming the first deputy speaker for taking that position. That's why I said, if you do the comparison with leadership, what it would reflect in the minds and perception of people is that is undermining the authority of the speaker, not me, of the speaker. Honorable members, we ought to be mindful of the precedents that exist in this House to guide our conduct. This will ultimately prevent an interpretation of our rules that provides us with problems. As to the issue of a deputy speaker being counted for the purposes of quorum, and you recall what happened that day, without a doubt, our standing orders and the 1992 Constitution clearly outlines a bar on the one presiding in Parliament in respect of participating in debates or voting on any matter. Article 102 of the Constitution is to the effect that the person presiding, be it the Speaker, a Deputy Speaker, or a member presiding, does not form part of the quorate number. Honorable members, whether or not the principle applies in pari materia with Article 104 is immaterial, because a different issue and law arises which respectfully the Honorable Fellow Deputy Speaker may not have averted his mind to. A distinction must be drawn between the temporary absence of the Speaker from the chamber, in which case any of the Deputy Speakers may preside, and when the Speaker is unavoidably absent, as provided for under Order 13.2. In fact, Order 13.2 creates two different types of instances under which the Deputy Speaker may preside in accordance with Article 101 of the Constitution. Under Article 13.1, under Order 13.1, any of the Deputy Speakers may be asked to take the chair when our Mr. Speaker so requests due to his temporary absence from the chair. The Deputy Speaker presides until such a time that Mr. Speaker is able to resume the chair to preside over the proceedings. It must be noted that under this ambit, the Deputy Speaker may be counted as forming part of the quorate number required for either business or voting, because at the beginning of the sitting, he was not exercising the powers of the Speaker. He is a member of Parliament. Honorable members, Order 13.1 is what I just referred to. At that time, the Honorable Deputy Speaker is just not called upon to preside due to the unavoidable absence of the Speaker. So that time, like I'm presiding, I decide for some good reason to leave the chair, and I call on the first or second Deputy Speaker to preside. That one is optional. I can call the first, I can call the second. But when you go to 13.2, it's a different scenario. And I read it. Whenever the House is informed by the clerk at the table of the unavoidable absence of Mr. Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker shall perform the duties and exercise the authority of Mr. Speaker in relation to all proceedings of the House until Mr. Speaker resumes the chair without any further communication to the House. Under this order, honorable members, listen. Honorable member, I don't want to name you. Under this order, the Speaker's unavoidable absence from the presence of Parliament means the First Deputy Speaker assumes the authority of the Speaker and performs all the duties of the Speaker in relation to the chamber. In this role, the First Deputy Speaker takes on the cloak of an acting Speaker, and for the purposes of our rules and the Constitution, assumes all the powers of the Speaker in relation to the business of the House. In this sense, therefore, the First Deputy Speaker for the period of my unavoidable absence from Parliament was the acting Speaker of Parliament, and thus all rules and limitations apply to him in a manner that applies to the substantive Speaker of Parliament. By and large, the reasoning of the First Deputy Speaker outlining the fact that he is not the Speaker. He holds his membership and thus not lose his privileges as a member when he takes the chair can be said to be correct. However, insofar as he takes on the role as the acting Speaker of Parliament, his decision to be counted as part of the numbers forming a quorum raises procedural challenges. Honorable members, although our standing orders are silent on this, many standing orders and rules from several sister parliaments provide persuasive rules which suggest that when deputy speakers or acting speakers or members are in the chair, whatever happens in the House is that officer's responsibility, and the Speaker cannot be called upon to overrule it. So if that forms the responsibility of the Deputy Speaker or Acting Speaker, and the substantive Speaker cannot overrule it, then how come the Deputy Speaker can lead the House to rescind or change a decision that was taken in the presence of the Speaker? What I am simply drawing your attention to is that, similarly, the reverse is also the case when a Speaker is in the chair. Whatever happens in the House is the Speaker's responsibility, and the Deputy Speaker or Acting Speaker cannot be called upon to overrule it. However, honorable members, we are where we are today because we need to make progress on this matter in a manner that is consistent with our laws and ensures we are allowing the governance of our country to thrive. And so this is for the record and is for the House and future parliaments to deliberate on, to guide the country to be able to come clear on these issues to prevent the ambiguities. Now, I'll move on to a very important area before I go to propose the way forward. A letter presented by the Minister of Finance on concessions and modifications to the 2022 budget statement. Honourable members, I'm aware of a letter of that nature originating from the Minister, which letter purports to make some concessions and modifications to the 2022 budget statement and economic policy of government. The legal basis of the laying of such a letter and what actions Parliament may take as a result leaves a lot to be desired. I have held discussions with the Minister himself, with the leadership of the House, to try to find a path that is faithful to law, respects our rules and processes, and ensures the governance of the country does not grind to a halt. In that vein, I made a few proposals to both the Minister and the leadership. I must say, I can only tell the proposals, but at the end of the day, there are still disagreements. My first proposal is for the Minister responsible for Finance to come before the House with whether it's modified, revised, amended, or reenacted statement of the budget, with those modifications, concessions, amendments specifically captured in the document and known and accepted by the House. Those modifications, amendments, and concessions would then be adopted by the House, and the revised documents with the estimates will stand committed to the various committees of Parliament. I'm aware the committees have begun consideration of the estimates. My proposal is for that to be adopted, but for the committees to reconcile the revised estimates with what they have hitherto considered and submit a report for the consideration of the House. The letter, for example, conveys the intention of government to allocate 10 million Ghana cedis for the engineering studies for the commencement of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. That 10 million will definitely be taken from another item that has been captured in what was presented, rejected, or reinstalled, or reinstated, or approved. Again, I'm aware that other areas, including the acceptance to capture properly the resolution of Parliament with regard to the Aker Energy proposal. But that is an indication of intent. That is what is conveyed in the letter. That is different from what will be captured in the document called revised or modified or amended budget. Honorable members, as I had stated earlier on, no consensus on this matter. The last one is the issue of the e-levy. As of today, there is no, but I'm told that before us is an audit paper addendum, where there is an item under presentation and first reading of bills through 2B, an item electronic transfer levy bill 2021. I've been persuaded that it is during the consideration of that bill that members will take decisions as to whether to approve the policy or principles of the bill and add to the details whether it's 1.75%, 1%, or 0.5%, or 0. This meant that the House is deciding to go beyond and engage civil society and the stakeholders in the industry as to the right decision in this matter. Definitely, the letter of the minister also acknowledges and captures this, because the minister stated clearly that they are in consultation with the minority caucus and other stakeholders in the industry. So exactly what I said, the House is accepting to proceed along that line. The Speaker doesn't participate in debates. It's my duty to guide you. You debate and take the decisions. And so, I would definitely, honorable member, we are in a very decent institution. I want to conclude on this note. If I wanted to be Chief Justice, I would have joined the judiciary. Honorable members, to conclude on these matters, let me reiterate my solemn pledge to the people of Ghana, which I canvassed in my first formal communication to this House. I will not, and I mean what I say, I will not superintend over a parliament to frustrate or obstruct government business. But I will equally not preside over a weak House or be tagged as an errand boy of the executive arm of government. This House is fully focused in discharging its mandate and will do so without any fear or favor, affection or ill will, in ensuring the ultimate best interest of the Ghanaian people is served. Let us continue, honorable members, to strengthen our channels of communication. We usually refer to them as the usual channels of communication. Foster dialogue. Encourage broader stakeholder consultation and allow the processes we have adopted for our burgeoning democracy to thrive. This is the concept on which the Parliament of the Fourth Republic has been captured by our laws. Consultation, compromises, working together. And that is why it's different from the British system, which is confrontational between government and opposition. And we moved away from using the government and opposition to majority and minority caucuses. You are here on the left today, tomorrow you'll be on the right, and vice versa. We must learn to work together for the interests of our people. With this, I thank you all for your attention. Give me some water. Honourable members, item 4, correction of and proceedings and official reports. Page 1 of the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 15 December 2021. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Honourable members, I have too many of you standing, walking, chatting, and not paying attention to what is happening. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Yes, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, page 20, Roman numeral XXIX. Department of Rural Housing. The preposition of is missing. Department of Rural Housing. Thank you.
Yes. Table office, take note. That is number XX, Mr. Justin O. Jemfi, Rural Housing. Page 21.
Right, Honourable Speaker, please at page 20, item number XXXI. Mr. Pascal, the surname appears to have been captured wrongly. So if the table of
what is the surname?
There appears to be a combination of two names, but no space in between them. I've been checking with colleagues with the Ministry of the Committee of Finance, and they indicate that there is an error. So if it can be looked at.
So A-A-Y?
U-A-R, yeah.
U-A-R is different.
There should be a space after the Y. After the Y, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, kindly cross-check and make the necessary corrections. Page 21. Page 22. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. Page 27. Page 28. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. On page 28, number 2, Roman numeral VII, it's spelled DS instead of DR. So DR for doctor as opposed to DS, which is in the votes and proceedings.
Yes, doctor. Table office, kindly note. Page 29. Page 30. Page 31. Page 32. Yes, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Please, item number 3I. Mr. Osechi Mensa Bonsu. Mensa Bonsu to be hyphenated.
Well, clearly, this is a bookable offense. Nobody should have the doubt of spelling the two names of the majority leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. One is Osei, and the other name is J. Mensa Bonsu, hyphenated. Page 33. Yes, please.
Respectfully, let me take you back to page 28. The bottom, in attendance, I, Mr. Obeskan Dapa, the designation is Honorable MP and Minister responsible for national. He is not a member of Parliament. So, table office should take note. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, Minister. Honorable Albert Kandapa, is he Minister for National Security or Minister responsible for national security?
Minister for National Security.
So table office is not only the Honorable MP but also the responsible for. They are different things altogether. He's the Minister for National Security, not responsible for. Page 29. Page 30. 31. 32. 33, 34, and 35. Yes, is it with the votes and proceedings? Majority Leader.
That is so, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my attention has just been drawn to what has been captured on page 8.
Sorry, page 20.
Page 8.
8.
8. Item listed number 3. That the following honorable member was absent with permission. And that person is Chairman Sabunsu Osei, the member for sure. Speaker, I was there yesterday. I'm surprised that the table office elected not to have seen me.
Oh, actually, I didn't get your submission right. You are saying you are elected member.
No, I said the table office elected not to have seen me. I was present. was indicating that the following honorable member was absent with permission. And they list me as having been absent from the house yesterday with permission. I was here.
Table office.
Mr. Speaker, you have defined the house will even include our offices.
Table office. The seat of the majority leader is so close to you that you cannot fail to see his presence yesterday. Yes, so kindly take note. He was present yesterday. Honorable members, votes and proceedings of the 13th sitting of the third meeting held on Wednesday, 15th December 2021, as corrected, are adopted as a true record of proceedings. I don't have any copy of official report, and so I proceed to item 3. Which at page 3 is captured as item 5, which is questions. Unless I be persuaded to vary the order of business. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I guess we'll step down the questions. We step down the questions, giving the exigencies of the times, and move straight. Mr. Speaker, I was just saying that we step down the questions, given the exigencies of the times, and then move straight to the So, Mr. Speaker, I am praying the House to go to item number 7.
Mr. Speaker, I was going to suggest that we take question number 509 for Aprekutum Barima, and 510 in the name of the Honorable Sam Okujeto. Then the rest we can stand down, not even come back to them. But these two questions are very important questions. It is guiding our consideration of budget estimates. So we could have only the Minister for National Security respond to those questions on presidential travels between 2013, 2016 and now. Then the rest, we can defer them to another day and move on to do business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So question number 509 and 510, so that we can excuse the very busy Minister for National Security to go and concentrate on the affairs of state. So just the two, but the rest, we are not able to come back. We will persuade the other questions standing in the Ministry of Energy for another day. But just take these two. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the minister, when we even entered, sounded that he had a program meeting outside the presence of Parliament. And I prayed for him to stay, to just let people know that he's being here. So I was just saying that if we will permit us to deal with the matters at public business, and then the Speaker will certainly come back. Will certainly come back.
Well, honorable members, I am persuaded to grant the leave for us to go to deal with public business and then plead with the Minister for National Security to spend some more time with us. You have to come back to answer your question. Honorable members, let's move to item 7. At the commencement of public business. Yes, please.
Speaker, as you rightly observe, we're taking item 7, presentation of papers, and we begin with 7E, 7C, in fact, all of it, 7C, all the items listed. Speaker.
Honorable members, at the commencement of public business, item 7, presentation of papers. The following papers to be presented: 7C, by the chairman of the committee, 7C Roman 1.
Report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget estimates of the National Development Planning Commission for the year ending 31st December 2022.
Honorable members, the report of the Finance Committee has been laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members. 7C Roman 2.
Report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget estimates of the Office of the Head of Civil Service for the year ending 31st December 2022.
Honorable members, the said report is accordingly laid and is for distribution to all members. 7C Roman 3.
Report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget estimates of the Ministry of Finance for the year ending 31st December 2022.
Again, this report too has been laid and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. 7C Roman 4.
Report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget estimates of the Office of Government Machinery for the year ending 31st December 2022.
The report has accordingly been laid and is also for distribution to all members of Parliament. 7C Roman 5.
Report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget estimates of other government obligations for the year ending 31st December 2022.
The said report has also been laid and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes.
Speaker, we can now take item 7D, D for Daniel.
Honorable members, item 7E, by the chairman of the committee. Did you say D or E?
Speaker, I said D, 7D.
For Daniel?
Yes, indeed.
Honorable members, 7D, by the chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Youth, Sports and Culture on the annual budget estimates of the Ministry of Youth and Sports for the year ending 31st December 2022.
The said report has been laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Any more guidance?
Speaker, we can now take E, 7E, II, Roman Rembrandt, II. 7E, E for Emmanuel, II.
Honorable members, 7E, Roman 2, by the chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Communications on the annual budget estimates of the Ministry of Information for the year ending 31st December 2022.
The report has been laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes.
Speaker, 7F, F for Frank.
Honorable members, item 7F by the chairman of the committee.
Report of the Joint Committee on Lands and Forestry and Mines and Energy on the annual budget estimate of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources for the year ending 31st December 2022.
Honorable members, the report has been laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes.
Speaker, 7I, with respect, 7I. I for industry.
Honorable members, item 7I by the chairman of the committee. Honorable members, item 7I by the chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Health on the annual budget estimate of the Ministry of Health for the year ending 31st December 2022.
Honorable members, the report has been laid accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. Yes, please.
Speaker, with respect, we can now go on to page 8 and take item 9. Page 8, item 9.
I will need some guidance on this. We are getting into motion. I want to know how many people leadership have agreed on each side of the divide and for how many minutes per person.
Speaker, leadership has engaged on this and we came to some conclusion. So it's one apiece, one on each side.
What do you mean? After the minister, then the chairman will not speak. Sorry, after the chairman ranking, and that is all. I thought that yes, Deputy Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority, yes.
The proposal is that when the minister moved the motion, the chairman second with the presentation of the report. Then the ranking member speak. They will take one more. They will end it. Either a member or leadership. They will end it. So in effect, 2-2. Apart from the minister who moved the motion. No, he was here.
Yes.
Speaker, not to drag this matter further, we are in agreement. We are in total agreement with our colleagues, so we can make progress.
Honourable members, that's the understanding. The chair will move, the minister will speak, ranking, and then another person from the minority side. So 2-2. That's fair enough. So, honourable members, item 9 at page 8 of the order paper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that this Honourable House approve the sum of 6,276,000 for the services of the National Labour Commission for the year ending 31st December 2022. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Oh. Any seconder?
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to second the motion and in so doing present the committee's report. I would like the Hansa Department to capture the entire report as having been read as I take this Honourable House to one of the observations which was made by the committee. On page 8, item 713. Right Honourable Speaker, it came to the attention of the committee that for the past years, the Ministry of Finance has not granted financial clearance to enable the Commission recruit new staff and replace those who have resigned or retired from the service of the Commission. The situation, according to the Commission, has undermined its capacity and to deal expeditiously with huge volumes of cases, complaints received from various parts of the country. The committee urges the Ministry of Finance and government to prioritize the work of the Commission in view of its role in promoting peaceful working environment and harmonious labor relations. The committee further urges the Ministry of Finance to provide the requisite financial clearance for the Commission to replace its exited staff. Right Honourable Speaker, in conclusion, the labor issues continue to be at the heart of the socio-economic development of the country, as the labor agitation have the potential to stagnate development efforts of the government. The invaluable contribution of the National Labour Commission in promoting harmonious industrial relations cannot be underestimated. It is important to recognize that the arbitration role played by the Commission reduces industrial tension and creates the congenial atmosphere for productivity and development. It is therefore in the interest of government and the entire nation to ensure that the Commission has the resources required to work effectively on its mandate. The committee therefore respectfully invites the House to adopt its report and approve the sum of 6,276,000 Ghana cedis to support the services of the National Labour Commission for the 2022 financial year. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Honorable members, motion has been moved and seconded. It's now for the consideration of the House. Ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to support the motion that this Honourable House approve the sum of 6,276,000 for the service of National Labour Commission for the year ending 31st December 2022. Mr. Speaker, the National Labour Commission was allocated amount of 6,315,798 for a year 2021 for the implementation of the programs and activities. Mr. Speaker, out of this approved amount, 4,156,940.71 was released, representing 65% of the total budgetary allocation commission. Mr. Speaker, with respect to the compensation of employee, an amount of 1,635,043 cedis was expended in 2021, a decrease of 353,451.71 p. 17.8% was reduced. Speaker, the budget compensation include the salary, bond sitting allowance, as well as arrears of sitting allowance for regional commissions. The total expenditure on goods and services amounted to 1,946,897 cedis. But this includes arrears carried forward from 2020. Mr. Speaker, the total of 575,000 was expended in 2021 for CAPEX, a decrease of 41.8% from 2020 amount. Mr. Speaker, with this little amount released to the Commission, considering the important role played by the Labour Commission, how do you expect the Labour Commission to perform their role effectively and efficiently? Mr. Speaker, Labour Commission received a total of 822 complaints. About 50% were disputes were settled within 3 months. The annual compensation award compensation of 2,462,497.77 was paid to beneficiaries. The Speaker, Commission have been allocated an amount of 6,276,000 for the year 2022 to undertake activities for. Again, it is noted that there have been a continuous reduction in the allocation from 2020, 2021, and 2022. Commission could not undertake a certain planned activities and programs due to a continuous decline of a budget and inadequate release of funds. Mr. Speaker, it is noted that the current condition of service is unattractive to attract a high caliber of people, personnel to work in the Commission. And therefore, we recommend that the Minister of Finance will release the clearance for them to recruit a new staff to increase the Commission. Mr. Speaker, in the line with the Commission vision of creating a peaceful industrial relation environment, it has a plan to bring its service more closer to the people, and therefore they intend to open a true additional office in the Ebron and Northern region. Mr. Speaker, the Commission intends to utilize budgetary resources to implement the program and activity, and the Commission main major activities are management and administration, labor dispute restoration. But Mr. Speaker, the summary of expenditure by sub-program economic items and funding, where the Commission may call mandate is labor dispute restoration. They were given only 20,000 for goods and services. Then how do you expect such a serious commission to operate? Because they should have given more resources, but they were giving goods and services 20,000. So we recommend that the Minister of Finance should do well to consider them to increase their goods and service resources so that they can operate more perfectly. The Speaker, with these few words, thank you, and I urge honourable members to support and approve the sum of 6,276,000 for the service of National Labour Commission for the year ending 31st December 2022. Thank you.
Honourable members, in the absence of any other contribution, I put the question. Those in support of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The House has accordingly approved the sum of 6,276,000 Ghana cedis for the services of the National Labour Commission for the year ending 31st December 2022. Yes.
Speaker, page 9. Yes, we can now take page 9, item 10. Speaker.
The same Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, item 10, motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that this Honourable House approve the sum of 258,170,000 Ghana cedis for the services of the Ministry of Labour Relations for the year ending 31st December 2022. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder?
Right, Honourable Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Secretary Minister. Right, Honourable Speaker, I want the Hansard Department to capture the entire report of the committee as I present. Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to draw this Honourable House attention to page 7, last paragraph, that's paragraph 7 of page 17. And with your permission, I read. The committee observed that the capping of year funds coupled with the non-releases of funds from the National Assembly Common Fund and the GET Fund deprives the year of the needed resources to implement the programs and activities. For instance, the agency projected to enroll 20,000 youth in the Community Improvement Program in 2021, but managed to enroll only 12,950 due to funding challenges. Similarly, year plan to enroll 10,000 youth in the Youth in Entrepreneurship model, but ended up enrolling only 5,000. The committee considered the year as an important vehicle for providing jobs for the youth. There is therefore the need for government to provide the agency with the needed resources to effectively pursue the mandate. The committee strongly urges the District Assembly Common Fund, the GET Fund, and the Ministry of Finance to ensure that funds embarked or earmarked for year are transferred in full and on time for the implementation of the agency's programs and activities. The committee requested that the year furnishes it with details of expenditure on the sanitation model of the National Youth Employment Programs. The agency complied, and the detailed breakdown of activities and expenditure was subsequently submitted to the committee. In conclusion, Right Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations mandate of coordinating labour-related policies, promoting job creation and decent working environment, and fostering industrial peace can only be achieved if the ministry is given the needed resources to undertake its functions effectively and efficiently. In furtherance to the above, the committee recommends that the House adopt the report and approve the sum of 258,170,000 Ghana cedis to enable the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations implement its programs and activities for the 2022 financial year, respectively submitted. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded is now for the consideration of the House. Yes, Honourable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to speak on the motion. And in speaking on the motion, I will want to reiterate some of the issues raised by the Honourable Chairman of the committee and add a few more. Mr. Speaker, this House passed the Youth Employment Agency law, and in passing the law, the House was very clear about the percentage of the District Assembly Common Fund, the Communication Service Tax Fund that should go to the Youth Employment Agency as well as the GET Fund. The Act is extremely clear and does not leave room for ambiguity. But Mr. Speaker, as our report indicates, the District Assembly Common Fund, as at the end of October 2021, has not released a CD to the Youth Employment Agency, and it is a blatant breach of the law. And this House has a responsibility to ensure that laws passed by this House are respected. Mr. Speaker, not only have they not received a CD for 2021, but the practice has been that this House has compromised the Act by conniving with the District Assembly Common Fund in shaping and approving the formula to reduce what the Youth Employment Act says should to what the Act says should go to the Youth Employment Agency. Mr. Speaker, I will plead with this House that in approving subsequent formulas for the District Assembly Common Fund, this House must respect the law and must respect the Act and ensure that the Youth Employment Agency gets what the law says it should get. Mr. Speaker, the GET Fund, again, has not remitted a single CD to the Youth Employment Agency for the year 2021 as at October. Again, the law is very clear. It is this House that makes the law. And so I believe there's an obligation on this House to ensure that the law is respected. Mr. Speaker, for lack of time, I will just zero in on my last issue that I want to bring to the attention of the House. Indeed, our report says that the committee requested the Youth Employment Agency to furnish us with the financial details of the sanitation model for the Youth Employment Agency. Mr. Speaker, the Youth Employment Agency pays the service provider, the private sector service provider, 600 cedis a month for each member, for each person employed. Mr. Speaker, there is a constitutional demand on this House to ensure equity. Indeed, the directive principles of state policy enjoins us to ensure justice, economic justice for Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, after receiving 600 cedis per head from the Youth Employment Agency, the service provider pays the people working on this sanitation model 180 cedis a month out of the 600 received. Mr. Speaker, not only that, 120 cedis is appropriated by the service provider as management fee on each individual under the Youth Employment Sanitation model. Mr. Speaker, as if that is not enough injustice perpetuated on the poor, 300 cedis out of the 600 is appropriated as logistics. Mr. Speaker, in all of our constituencies, when we wake up at dawn, we see the women, the downtrodden women who sweep our streets under this model. They receive 180 cedis, and the service provider charges 120 cedis on each head, every single person, and again takes 300 cedis as logistics on each head. Mr. Speaker, our coat of arms talks about freedom and justice. Where is the justice? Where out of 600 cedis, the beneficiary is paid only 180, and the service provider appropriates the rest in the name of the poor. Mr. Speaker, I will want this House at the appropriate time to take up this issue. I thank you for the opportunity, and I will support the adoption of the report subject to this House taking up the issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, in the absence of any further contribution, I put the question. Those in favor of the motion item 10 on the order paper, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The House has accordingly approved the sum of 258,170,000 Ghana cedis for the services of the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations for the year ending 31st December 2022. Honourable members, I have taken note of the contribution of the ranking member, and he has raised serious issues. I want to direct, and I hereby direct, that the Committee on Employment and Labour Relations should take up this issue and investigate it fairly, not only with regard to what the service provider is doing, but also according to the ranking member, the blatant violation of the laws by this House itself. He says we've condoned and connived on that. We cannot be passing laws and be seen to be disobeying the laws ourselves. In approving the formula, we definitely did not go by the dictates of the law. That is a serious matter. And I think that the committee should take it up and report to the House so that we can have a basis for taking a decision to guide the future implementation of the law and to allow the beneficiaries to at least get the benefit of their labor in this matter. Majority Leader, is this in my direction or the table office?
Look, Mr. Speaker, I'll just signal that I agree with the principle. I was just indicating that if we can give some timelines, because if you don't assign any timelines, we could perhaps not see a resurrection of the matter in the chamber. So perhaps into the next meeting, in 4 or 5 weeks into the next meeting, we should have finished the investigation and report back to us.
I had a difficulty in fixing the time because of the recess, and also I expect that at least the report should be in the House before the presentation of the next formula, so that we can work to make inputs into that one. But Chairman and Ranking Member, you know the magnitude of the problem. Any guidance you can present. Chairman, where is the chairman? Chairman, we need your guidance.